Hello everybody and welcome to today's video where we're going to be installing Claude Code in just 5 minutes. So first things first, let's go to the Claude Code documentation. They have a quick start guide here. I'm going to leave the link in the video description. You scroll down a little bit, you'll see a command to install, right? So it's this curl command. So I'm just going to copy this. Next thing, I'm going to open the terminal. So, on Mac, you're going to open up the terminal. On Windows, you would open up the PowerShell, right? So in the terminal here, in the case of Mac, I've opened this up here, and you can see I'm now going to just paste in this command. I'm going to hit enter, and now it's going to start downloading Claude. Now the installation is all complete. What I'm then going to do is I'm going to navigate to a folder where I want to do all of my work with Claude. So on my desktop, I've got a folder called Jonathan Brain. And within that, I actually have my Obsidian folder full of all of my notes and everything like that. So my book notes, my work notes, my meeting notes, all of that kind of thing. So this is really what I want Claude Code to be able to analyze and provide me insights of. So I'm going to simply copy the path of Jonathan Brain. So if I right-click this, I'm going to hold down Option, and then I'm going to click Copy Jonathan Brain as path name. And I'm going to go back into the terminal, and I'm going to do CD, right? And then I'm going to paste in that. So that is now going to basically put us into this folder. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to write Claude. And you see it says welcome to Claude Code version 2.1.119, which is the current one. And you can select which style you'd like to see Claude. So auto, which is going to match the color scheme of the terminal, or you can have it in dark mode, light mode, etc. So for the purposes of this tutorial, I'm going to do auto, so it's going to match the current terminal look and feel. And then it's going to ask you to log into your Claude account. So the first option is logging into your Claude account with a subscription. So if you're like a Pro member or a Max member. The next one is if you're a developer and you've set up API billing, so it's going to charge you per usage. Or if you're part of a third-party program which is using Claude. So for this case, I actually have a Claude account. I recommend you get a Claude account. I recommend you start off with Pro, just because of all the features that you get for that. And after you've used Pro, eventually look at subscribing to Max, which is what I have now. So I'm going to click that. And then you see it's going to authorize. So I click authorize. Awesome. I now go back into the terminal and it's successfully done. I've logged in. I click enter. It has a quick little security notice that it can make mistakes. I click enter again. Use the Claude Code's terminal setup. So yes, use it with the recommended settings. And now it's asking, can it access the folder that I've put it in? Right, so do I trust it? And yeah, I say, yes, I trust this folder. Awesome, and it's in here now. Now the first thing you want to do is you want to do this /init command that it's going to create this Claude.md file, which has the kind of starting instructions for Claude. Whenever you open up Claude Code, it's going to read this Claude.md file to kind of help it navigate things. And you can write anything within that, kind of like a system prompt. So let me just show you how this works. So I'm going to do init. And you see it's now presented to me a draft of what it's going to write within the Claude.md file. So it's going to say this file provides guidance to Claude Code when working within the repository. It is a personal workspace for thinking, writing, and creating. It is not a code repository, which is true. And then it's denoted the layout of my workspace, so all of the different folders. So I've got my Obsidian Vault, which is for my notes, planning, scripting, etc. I've got a folder called YouTube Production, which is really just screen recordings and finished videos like this one. I've got one of receipts. And then I've got an old archive, folder with all my previous Claude work, so I uninstalled everything just to show you how to install it. But I put all of my old Claude stuff within this archive. And you can see it's kind of given some basic high-level information, essentially to tell Claude every time you open Claude, the overall file structure, the folder structure of the personal workspace that I have, right? So that's not having to relearn how everything is organized, every time that it launches. So this is very important. So I'm going to click yes, allow all edits during the session. So it's going to create this Claude.md file. And it's now created it. And if I open up my folder, so my Finder, you can actually go into here and you can see it. So the Claude.md file is now here. It's a markdown file. And you can see it's got all of this information, within this that Claude is now able to read. Following this, what you can do is, for example, start prompting. So let's say looking through my Obsidian vault in the last 1 week, what have I been mainly looking at? What are the key areas of focus? And what are some of the more interesting insights that I should be paying attention to? And you can see it's now essentially reading the last week of notes that I've made within my Obsidian vault. I've also got another video where I talk through my Obsidian knowledge vault structure. If you're interested in like organizing all of your thoughts, your notes, the things that you find and keep on the internet, etc., definitely check that out. Cool. And now you see that it's found the insights. So what have I been looking at in the last week? So Claude tutorials. So that's what I've been doing now. I've been releasing quite a few of these videos this week. I've been using Live Tropics, which is my e-commerce business, as like a live test bed to test out some of these Claude things that I've been showing you. I've been studying the YouTube algorithm, and I've been like, gathering some of these insights worth acting on. So Opus 4.7 tokenizer is using 35% more tokens. Instagram shares are more important than likes in terms of the algorithm, and then I've got, some of these other insights as well. And that is it for today. If you're interested in more practical Claude tutorials for entrepreneurs and business people and professionals alike, feel free to subscribe, and I'll be doing more of this content soon.